So let's talk about getting life insurance, either for yourself or for a loved one, if there's been a cancer diagnosis in the past. So I think you're probably tuning in today because you know that cancer is a life-threatening condition and that the insurance companies are going to be very concerned about any history of cancer. And even if you've had cancer in the past and you've beat it, the insurance companies still want to know about that because a lot of cancers do come back. Now, not to worry you, a lot of them don't. A lot of folks have had a cancer and they go on and live long, healthy lives. But the insurance company doesn't know who's going to live a long time, who's going to live a short time. So they err on the side of caution. So let's talk about the underwriting just a little bit. And I'm going to focus mostly on insurance that's intended for burial insurance, cremation insurance, final expense insurance. It all falls under the umbrella of life insurance, specifically whole life insurance. We're not going to talk about term life insurance because term life insurance is really restrictive for past cancer diagnosis. And a lot of times they've got 5 and even up to 10-year lookbacks on any cancer. So for a lot of people, they've had cancer in the past, and it's going to be a long time before they're going to qualify for any term life insurance. So let's focus on the whole life insurance, of which the underwriting is much more flexible, and it's much easier to get approved for coverage if you've had cancer in the past. So we do get a lot of calls from folks saying, hey, I've just been diagnosed with cancer. What can I get for life insurance? And it's understandable because a lot of people are so busy living that they're not thinking about dying. And the only time they think about dying is when they get some sort of severe or extreme medical diagnosis like cancer. And all of a sudden they think, oh, mortality, right? I'm not going to live forever. And because they're not going to live forever, they know that their family's going to outlive them. Their loved ones are going to outlive them. And if they're providing money to those folks, when they die, that money goes away and their families struggle. So what we help people mostly with is making sure that their final expenses and just, you know, how people remember them at the cremation or the funeral or the ceremony. We want to make sure that that's taken care of first. And that's what we help people at Funeral Funds of America. And the reason we suggest looking at those expenses first is because we know those expenses are going to occur. When you die, there's going to be those expenses. Now, some people would say, well, I want a lot of insurance. It's not uncommon for somebody to say, well, I want $50,000 or $100,000 worth of insurance. And we go, why so much? They go, well, I've just been diagnosed with cancer. And it's logical in their mind why they want so much life insurance, but they're looking for it at the wrong time. And that's right after they've been diagnosed with cancer, and they still have cancer. So they were a little late in their search. So don't make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So most of the insurance companies out there are going to ask if you've been diagnosed or treated for cancer in the last 2 years. And if you have, you're not going to qualify for any type of plan out there except one that's got a 2-year waiting period. Now, consider this. If you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, one of the highest survivability cancers out there, it probably makes sense to get that policy that's got a 2-year waiting period. Because after 2 years of being cancer-free, we can come back and shop for another policy with 1st-Day coverage that may have better pricing. Because those 2-year waiting periods are not the best price plans, but they are the plans that you can qualify for. Therefore, they are the best price plans. I hope that makes sense. The best price plan is the one that you can qualify for. And if you've been diagnosed or treated for cancer in the last 2 years, a 2-year waiting period is the only policy that you're going to qualify for. Now, you may be going, well, I want 1st-Day coverage. Well, First day coverage is granted to people who don't currently have cancer and who haven't had cancer in the last 2 years. And if you've got cancer right now, there was a point in your life that you did not have cancer and you would have qualified for first day coverage. But you didn't shop for it at that time. You didn't buy it at that time. And therefore, you can't get first day coverage once you've been diagnosed with cancer. And the reason is, cancer is variable. Like I mentioned earlier, prostate cancer, highest survivability. I think it's like 90+%. People go on to live long, healthy lives. But there's a lot of people who don't know that they've got cancer. They go get diagnosed and they go, well, stage 4 metastatic. It's like, oh my gosh, that's some serious stuff. And a stage 4, some cancers are very treatable, and some cancers, unfortunately, are not. So again, the insurance companies are very clear on that, on their language. Any cancer in the last 2 years, it's going to be an automatic decline with any insurance company. That's cancer or treatment, diagnosis, all that stuff. You would be wise to look at a 2-year waiting period. If you got any questions about that, just feel free to give us a call. We can be a resource on that. We don't help people with 2-year waiting periods. We've got nothing to sell there. We'd be happy to make a referral to a company if that's the case for you. But, a lot of people just go, well, it's not fair. It's just not fair. The insurance company should cover it. What does it matter if I've got cancer? Well, the insurance companies, you've got to understand this. Number one, they want to pay claims. They want to pay claims. They want to have that goodwill. They want to have, that's part of their business model, is to pay claims for people who have died. That's good business for them. You wouldn't think it would be good business, right? But it is good business for them. They want people out there talking about, hey, when my wife died, this company paid me the money that they said they were going to pay me. They want to do that. But by the same token, they can't insure people who are incredibly high risks. And let's say you had that stage 4 metastatic cancer and you had a $40 a month premium for $20,000, just an example. And you only lived 4 months. So you paid $160. They had to pay out $20,000. That's a pretty poor business model for an insurance company. They would be out of business within a month if they just insured everybody like that. So they have to have some basic rules and guidelines and standards on who they'll insure so that they can stay in business, so that they can pay claims for people who prepared in advance and just not insure people who procrastinated. Yes, that's right, procrastinated until it was too late. And the reason is most people have had a car in their lifetime and they've had insurance. So if you bought a brand new car and you didn't get insurance quite yet, and you drove it a couple weeks and you kept intending to get the insurance for the car, but you had to go get groceries and do some other shopping and stuff like that. And you were driving your car through an intersection and you accidentally hit somebody and totaled your car out. And then you called the insurance company, the automobile insurance company, and said, hey, I need to get some insurance. And they go, oh, why do you need insurance? And you go, well, I just crashed my car and it's really messed up. In fact, I think it's pretty much totaled. So I'd be happy to make my first payment today. And then that way you can send me a check and replace my car. Sound good? And the insurance company would say, no, that doesn't sound good. You would have had to have this insurance before you got in the accident. You can't wait until after you've had the accident and then approach us and want to make 1 month's insurance payment and have us pay off your car, 30, 40, 50,000, whatever it is. That's not the way they operate. It's called responsibility, right? If you are responsible, you do the important things to protect the valuable assets that you have. And a car is a valuable asset. Your life is a valuable asset. If you're not alive, you can't work, you can't make money, you can't provide for your family. If you're retired, if you're not alive, the government does not keep sending those Social Security or disability checks to your loved ones. They cancel it at that point. That money goes off. It gets shut off and it's not available. And there will be final expenses that need to be paid. And that's what this insurance does really, really extremely well. So my message to you today is there is no really great options if somebody's got cancer or been diagnosed or treated for cancer in the last 2 years. The wonderful news is you can still get some insurance. If it's in the early stage of cancer, a lot of times a 2-year waiting period makes sense. We can refer you to the best company that's going to offer the best plan at the lowest pricing. Just reach out to us if that's the case. Now, the other good news is cancer treatments are getting better and better and better every single day. And so many more people are surviving cancer. So the good news is if you get a 2-year waiting period policy, we can probably replace that in 2 years from your last diagnosis or treatment of cancer and get you first day coverage at better pricing. So you've got that option. The other thing is if you just decide, hey, I don't want to get that 2-year waiting period and I'll just kind of start saving some money up, you can do it that way too. But most people have a lot of problems saving that money up. That's why they're looking for the insurance in the first place. So your other option, if you don't want to get a 2-year waiting period, is just hit the pause button on your search. Write us down on your calendar, Funeral Funds of America, 2 years from that last date of treatment or diagnosis. You know, you need to be cancer-free for a full 2 years. And then reach out to us. And we have insurance companies that if you haven't been treated or diagnosed in the last 2 years, you'll get first day coverage. They will treat you as if the cancer never even occurred. You'll get the best rates and the lowest pricing. Now, consider this. You're going to be 2 years older 2 years from now. So your rates would go slightly up just because you'll be a little bit older. But you'll still get great rates and first day coverage. And if you've survived those 2 years, chances are you're going to live a long, healthy life. As a rule, right? No guarantees in this world. So if you've had cancer in the past or currently have cancer, reach out to us and we can help you if you've been cancer-free and had no treatment in the last 2 years. If you've currently got cancer and you just want a company that, that 2-year waiting period that's the best one, we can certainly refer you to them. But just anyway, reach out to us, Funeral Funds of America, and we help people with burial, cremation, final expense, whole life insurance with first day coverage. Take care.